Abraham Lincoln, who defined democracy as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That is to tell you that the essence of government is for the dividends of the masses, for the people. Now, Nigeria has, kind of damaged the reputation of democracy because in a situation or in a government whereby the people lack or missing in the aspect of the dividends of democracy, that is to say that that government is in a moribund state and in a ramshackle state. And it was also Thomas Hobbes who said that any nation, any clown, any community that lacks government, that government is in a state of cataclysm, in a state of turmoil, brutish, and in a state of anarchy. And that is a copious replica of the situation of Nigeria presently. Let's take a retrospect to June 12th election that gravitated or culminated to what we have today as Nigeria's democracy day. Remember, this same June 12th wasn't the actual date of Nigeria Democracy Day, but because of the June 12th election of the MKO Abiola, Chief MKO Abiola, and that was annulled. That was why Nigeria today, you know, arrogated June 12th as uh, Democracy Day. That is in honor and memorial ceremony to the late Chief MKO Abiola, because that election was the foremost free and fair election Nigeria has ever had. Yes, it was the foremost free and fair election Nigeria has ever had. And and that is where the genes or the spirit of democracy was grossly caputed as far as Nigeria sector is concerned. Now, taking from let's take the trajectory of from June 12th down to this moment, is approximately 31 years now. Where is the fruit of democracy in Nigeria? But rather, what we have a government of kakistocracy, a government of theocracy, a government of mobocracy, a government of gerontocracy, a government that has been ensconced in the cocoon of Higi Haga and Gargantuan Higidi Pigidi. Nigeria ought to be a country whereby the citizens are enjoying themselves, enjoying the dividends of democracy. But because of gross nepotism, because of gross failure, and because of the gross cack-handedness of our leaders, this is where we have found ourselves. Now, 31 years after June 12th election, Nigeria is still snowballing, dilly-dallying, and shilly-shallying blindly in, term, in the boulevard of governance. Do you understand? Now, let's take uh, a clue of what is happening in Nigeria presently. Can we say Nigeria is practicing democracy? No, no. Every year in, year out, Nigeria celebrates Democracy Day. Nigeria celebrates Democracy Day. Now, let's look at it. From the past of 2023 election that was held in Nigeria, where can we see the spirit of democracy inside? No, because the what we have now, the democracy we have now is the democracy of the politicians, democracy of the caucus, the democracy of the cabals. The cabals, you know, it's not a government of the cabals, by the people of the cabals, or by the members of the cabals, and for the generation yet unborn of the cabals. Yes, they know themselves, and they have been able to ration Nigeria for themselves and put the resources of Nigeria into their pocket. And when it comes to election, during election, these cabals, north, east, west, and south of Nigeria, they all, collaborate together and make sure that their top cabal win this election so that they will keep on making Nigeria resources into their pocket. And that is what democracy means to them. And that's why they're always celebrating what democracy, because their pocket is always what getting richer, while the masses are getting poorer, impoverished day in, day out. Election came in last year. We saw what happened. We saw incessant police brutality. We saw intimidation. We saw gross misconduct. We saw gross ineptitude. The aspect of campaigns, electioneering, maladministration, and political racketeering. We saw everything, and these things are the negativities that shouldn't even been associated in any ambience of democracy. But guess what? That is what we are seeing in a country that has termed itself the giant of Africa, a country that its minimum wage is not even up to $30. A country that its minimum wage is not even up to $30. You get what I'm saying? So, what is even the essence of celebrating democracy in Nigeria, whereby there is no freedom of speech? There is freedom of speech, but there is no freedom guaranteed for you at the end of that speech. Gross intimidation. When President Tinubu came into power, the first thing was subsidy is removed, no careful thought, no careful planning, and that single statement plunged the whole nation. 50% poverty ahead. Now, before President Tinubu came into power, fuel was as of uh, um, 150, 180, or even 200 per liter. Even before APC came into power, fuel was 87. Now, starting from 2015 down to this moment, we can say that democracy has long been dead in Nigeria. And the masses, because the masses are not being put into consideration at all before policies have been carried out, because they believe that the masses have been impoverished, and when you are impoverished, you are hungry, and when you are hungry, you are subject to obey their to be at their beck and call. During APC administration, when APC came into administration, the country was booming well. I think that Nigeria was reckoned to be one of the top performing countries in Africa. But as it is now, Nigeria is being reckoned as one of the worst performing countries in Africa and in the world. So what does that got to tell you? That the dividends of democracy has been long dead and buried as far as Nigeria is concerned. Now, let's look at the present administration. President Tinubu coming to power, the first thing you uttered was fuel subsidy is removed. Where are the careful thoughts? Where are the money? Where are your scheme of work? You came into power without appropriate scheme of work. Yes, you came into power without appropriate scheme of work. What do you know that you want to come and do? Nothing. You have no clue. You have no idea. You lack the political know-how to pilot the affairs of this nation. And that's why the nation is in a state of higgity-piggity, in a state of turmoil, and in a state of cataclysm. Now, we came into look at what is the price of bag of rice now? What is the price of cement? What is the price of foodstuff in the market? Compare and contrast these prices prior to your coming in and prior to your administration, prior to your coming in and your and at the rate of the price at this point in time. And we are talking about democracy. We should be clapping for you. Why should we clap for you? So Nigeria has never at all lived to the dividends of democracy. There is no democracy in Nigeria. There is no democracy in Nigeria. Not even a single atom of it. Because as it is now, what I think before this administration came in, or what was the foreign exchange rate? What was the foreign exchange and what is the price now? It is quite a bashful and lugubrious that and pounds is almost is 2000 plus, and dollar is is heading to 2000 naira in a country that practices democracy. So where is now the proof of the democracy in Nigeria? Obviously, there is no proof of democracy in Nigeria because the masses are all suffering. The masses are all suffering. The masses has given up. They have given up. There is no option. People are dying alive. People can't even pay hospital bills anymore. Nothing is being no. There is no sector that is being even being savaged by the government that claim to be offering democracy. So where is the proof of this democracy in the country? Student graduate, no job. The companies that are providing the job already, they're already shutting down, and drifting away from Nigeria because they can't cope. They can't cope. The economy of Nigeria is in shambles. We have to keep on saying democracy, democracy. So what are we now celebrating? What kind of democracy are we now celebrating? What kind of democracy are we now? So obviously there is no democracy in Nigeria. There is no democracy in Nigeria. It's high time those in leadership come to terms. Because what we have with politicians, they get into power, you still every day we keep on hearing billions, 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 trillions, stolen, stolen, stolen. EFCC will make noise, make noise, make noise. At the end, everything will die. EFCC will make noise, make noise. Everyone will die. The one that even EFCC will manage to get probably prosecuted at the end of the day, 50 million bail, 10 million bail, 1 million bail, and the person is now free to walk away and eat the rest of the billions he or she stole. Is that what democracy entails? Is that what democracy entails? Obviously, no. That is not what democracy entails. Because this country have stolen and stolen to the extent that our generation yet unborn are improving. When the rest counterpart of the world are 100 years ahead of us, Nigeria is still backward, behind. There is no democracy in Nigeria. There is no democracy.